Imagine your sales organization operating in a state of perfect flow, a rhythm so precise that every qualified prospect becomes a closed deal.
It sounds good.
What if your team could achieve what's often called the holy grail of selling, that kind of consistent, predictable success?
Well, it sounds like hyperbole, But the material we've synthesized from the sales experts, it shows that this level of sales success isn't really about luck or some kind of innate charm.
Right.
It's about selling in the zone, a deliberate, repeatable state where deep product knowledge, unshakable conviction, and genuine enthusiasm all converge into one comprehensive workflow.
That's the key distinction we're here to unpack. For
Yeah.
you, the executives, the sales leaders, the hiring managers listening in, it's not magic.
Not at all. It's a structured, systemic process. The sales experts material lays out 6 non-negotiable steps to build a workflow that's optimized to win every time.
So our mission today is to distill those steps. We're going to move beyond the usual motivational talk and give you immediately actionable insights.
Insights you can use to optimize your team's process, making sure that time, effort, and all your resources are channeled into high-probability sales.
Okay, let's unpack this framework, starting right at the foundation of the workflow. I'm talking about preparation, knowledge, and just highly efficient qualification.
The essential starting point, step 1 in this framework, is mastery and authority. If you want a sales team capable of consistent success, they have to first master the material.
And when we say mastery, we're not just talking about, glancing at a product sheet.
No.
The source material demands genuine depth, a comprehensive understanding of features and benefits, yes, but
Also, the nuanced knowledge of pricing, precise market positioning, your own internal strengths and weaknesses.
and crucially, an expert-level grasp of every competitor and alternative out there.
And here is where the deeper insight from the material comes in. The sales experts make a foundational distinction, they say. Knowledge convinces the intellect. Enthusiasm wins the emotions.
Wow, that quote is profound. It just shifts the entire training paradigm, doesn't it?
It does. It implies the goal isn't just information transfer.
So what is it then?
The depth of knowledge serves a dual strategic purpose. First, it allows your reps to deliver presentations with so much conviction that they position themselves not as vendors, but as true industry authorities.
Right, the trusted advisor.
Exactly. And when you're the authority, you naturally anticipate and overcome objections before they even become sticking points for the prospect. That is the ultimate form of workflow efficiency.
That deep foundational confidence really sets the stage for success. But all that competence, it needs to be channeled correctly.
For sure.
Having the most knowledgeable team in the world is a wasted resource if they're pitching to the wrong audience. And that brings us to the second step, precision qualification.
For any executive concerned with resource optimization, this is probably the single most important component. The findings warn that the biggest pipeline failure is pitching to anyone who will listen. That just clogs the system and guarantees you're paying for wasted time.
So the common mistake is wasting time. What does this structured workflow demand instead? It means defining that ideal customer profile with almost forensic precision.
Precisely. We need to move beyond general demographics and focus on the 3 criteria that really define an efficient pipeline. It's a strategic filter.
Okay.
The sales experts framework focuses on 3 essential questions that must be answered with a firm yes.
We all know the components of the classic BANT check, but for an executive audience, the difficulty isn't knowing the acronym, it's confirming the criteria, especially when information is intentionally hidden. How does the source suggest overcoming that?
That's the crucial refinement. When we ask who has the authority, we mean the person or committee who can actually sign the check.
Not just the technical validator.
Exactly. If your CRM doesn't track that distinction, your team is flying blind. Second, who has the budget? Is the funding allocated now, or are they just exploring for next year? And finally, who has the need right now?
That need right now piece is fascinating. How does a sales leader distinguish a genuine, immediate pain point from a prospect who's just, window shopping?
The material suggests the distinction lies in the severity and urgency of their problem. A true need right now means the cost of inaction is visible, quantifiable, and it's accelerating.
So if they can survive another quarter without your solution,
then their need is not right now. Efficient qualification ensures your pipeline only contains prospects facing that urgent pressure. For executives, This is massive. It means your resource efforts translate directly into real sales.
Focusing intensely on those high probability prospects, that's the difference between being busy and being productive.
Hmm.
Okay, so once we have the right knowledge and the perfectly qualified customer, we move into tactical execution. Step 3, develop a compelling message.
And this step demands agility. The pitch has to strike right at the heart of that customer's specific urgent need. But the truly critical insight from the sales experts is recognizing that this message cannot be static.
And this is where the source offers a piece of wisdom that just fundamentally shifts how we view the pitch deck. The quote is, "The customer writes the pitch."
That phrase, it mandates systemic adaptability. It means your sales workflow cannot force rigidity. If your reps are delivering a canned presentation regardless of buyer reaction, they are actively undermining their own success.
Wait, hold on. The customer writes the pitch, but most high-performing sales organizations rely on heavily vetted, pre-approved messaging for compliance and brand consistency.
Right.
How does an executive maintain that necessary rigidity while fostering the agility the framework demands? That seems like a conflict.
That is precisely the tension sales leaders have to navigate. And the sales experts are clear. Adaptability doesn't mean winging it.
Okay.
It means building an adaptive workflow. Specifically, mandating that your CRM tools capture and analyze buyer reaction data in real time.
So questions, friction points, objections.
All of it. This allows the central organization to adjust core pitch components weekly, moving away from rigid annual updates to constant data-driven iterations. It's systemic adaptability, not improvisation.
So we've developed a compelling, adaptable message. Now we pivot to step 4, craft an irresistible offer.
Yes.
If the first 3 steps, mastery, qualification, the tailored message, if they're executed flawlessly, the offer should feel less like a transaction and more like the inevitable natural conclusion.
And this is where the tactical components reinforce the emotional conviction you've built. The sales experts detail several structural elements designed to eliminate friction and make buying easy.
Things like creative pricing structures.
Exactly. Creative pricing, volume incentives, and this one is critical, risk-free guarantees.
Let's focus on those guarantees. Why are they so critical to the workflow?
Because they signal belief, which ties directly back into conviction. A risk-free guarantee, whether it's a 30-day money-back clause or a performance SLA, tells the customer that you believe so strongly in your own mastery and qualification.
That you're willing to shoulder the risk.
You're willing to shoulder the risk. It's a mechanism that eliminates that final barrier of doubt.
These tactical elements, the pricing, the bundles, the guarantees, they are the levers that eliminate the final friction points, making it feel like saying yes is just easier and safer than saying no.
Exactly. The workflow ensures you've done the prep, and the offer is the final capstone. But even the best offer can fail if the conviction isn't there, which brings us to the mental game.
Right. We're shifting gears now from the purely tactical to the deeply psychological. Step 5, keep the vision of success. This is where the workflow stops being just a checklist and becomes a strategic mindset.
A truly high-performing workflow has an internal mental component that has to be cultivated. The reps who consistently win hold a clear, unwavering vision that this prospect will buy.
They visualize the successful implementation before the pitch even starts.
Before it even starts.
Why is that mental aspect so critical, especially in these long, complex B2B sales cycles?
Because of the trust formula that the sales experts explicitly outline, it's confidence fuels conviction, and conviction builds trust.
So if the salesperson walks in lacking confidence,
the customer immediately senses that lack of conviction. Trust never forms, and the entire preceding workflow effort is undermined. Sales leaders have to recognize this mindset element is a measurable input into the process.
It's not just a soft skill you hope your reps have.
Not at all.
That makes perfect sense. It means training needs to incorporate exercises that reinforce that positive vision. This brings us to the final element, step 6, pitch and close with enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm is the accelerator. It brings energy and conviction to every single stage, particularly that closing moment. When everything else is equal product, pricing, need, the infectious nature of genuine excitement can seal the deal.
It's the difference between a neutral delivery and a presentation that communicates, I believe in this solution so profoundly that I can't wait for you to experience the success it will bring.
Precisely. The material details 3 necessary closing behaviors enhanced by that enthusiasm. Present with clarity, listen actively to final concerns, and close with confidence. When the seller believes fully, the customer finds it far easier to believe fully too.
And that's the ultimate convergence. Knowledge, conviction, and enthusiasm.
That's the zone.
So what does this entire structured framework mean for you, the sales executive or leader? We've outlined 6 steps that turn winning every sale from an abstract idea into a structured, repeatable process.
To achieve that, we can distill our analysis into 3 core actionable insights from the sales experts material targeted specifically at organizational structure.
Okay, give us the top 3 executive imperatives.
First, workflow efficiency must be non-negotiable. Executives need to prioritize precise, rigorous customer qualification. Stop letting your team pitch to leads that fail even one of the 3 non-negotiables: budget, authority, and need right now.
So implementing mandatory qualification scoring in your CRM?
Mandatory scoring and gate checks, yes. That focuses your resource allocation.
Okay, that's number 1. What about the messaging?
Second, mandate systemic adaptability. You have to move messaging away from rigid scripts. Build systems, data capture tools, weekly review cycles that support the principle that the customer writes the pitch.
So your reps can be agile and responsive.
Exactly. Responsive and data-driven, not robotic.
And finally, integrating that mental element.
The third is to cultivate conviction as a strategic asset. Recognize that the mental game, that confidence, conviction, and trust formula, is a strategic workflow element. You have to implement training and team checks that bake that winning vision right into their daily workflow.
That is a powerful and highly digestible framework for anyone looking to achieve truly consistent sales success.
It really is.
If these insights on optimizing your sales workflow resonate with you, we encourage you to dive deeper into the strategies shared by the sales experts. You can explore more of their resources by visiting thesalesexperts.com.
And this raises an important question for every sales leader as you revisit your current processes. If conviction builds trust, what systemic elements of your current sales workflow, maybe vague qualification standards, a lack of data on buyer friction, or training that only focuses on features, what might be inadvertently undermining your team's confidence today? Think about that as you redesign your path to the zone.